They called him the Quiet One. No one really knew why he joined the war. He wasn't the kind to boast. He wasn't a soldier for glory. He was a medic, carrying no weapon, only a bag of hope. And in the middle of the world's deadliest battlefield, he had made a promise, one he could never break. In 1944, deep in the chaos of World War II, a young army medic named Daniel Hayes stepped onto the shores of Normandy. The air was thick with gunpowder, the ground trembling under distant explosions. Daniel had trained for this moment, but no training could prepare a man for the cries of the wounded. Within minutes, he spotted a soldier lying face down in the mud. Bullets whistled past, but Daniel didn't hesitate. He dropped to his knees, rolled the man over, and began to work, pressing bandages. "You're gonna make it, buddy. Stay with me." That soldier would later tell people, "I don't remember the pain. I remember his voice." Days earlier, in a quiet camp, Daniel had made a vow to a dying comrade. The man had gripped his arm and whispered, "Promise me, you'll save as many as you can, no matter what." Daniel had nodded through tears. And now, every time he ran toward danger, that promise echoed in his mind. War wasn't just bullets and bombs. It was frostbite, starvation, the weight of seeing men you'd shared meals with not make it to the next morning. Daniel carried their faces with him, and somehow, that made him run faster toward the next scream for help. One rainy afternoon, gunfire erupted from the tree line. A squad was pinned down. Daniel sprinted forward, mud splashing against his legs, bullets snapping the air. He reached a wounded soldier, patched him up in seconds, and dragged him to cover, never once thinking about his own safety. His comrades said, "When things got bad, we'd see a shadow dart past, and we knew it was Hayes." Running through smoke, his medic bag bouncing against his side, he was a blur of determination. He wasn't fearless, but his fear was never for himself. Inside the medical tent, Daniel's hands never stopped moving. Tourniquets, morphine, stitches, sometimes working on 3 patients at once. The smell of blood mixed with the scent of wet canvas. Men cried out in agony, and Daniel answered with calm, steady words. One evening, after the gunfire faded, Daniel stepped outside. The battlefield was quiet. Smoke curled into a golden sunset. For a moment, he let himself breathe. But even in peace, he could still hear the echoes of men calling for help. Daniel kept a small leather journal. In it, he wrote the names of every man he treated, even those he couldn't save. Someone, he wrote, should remember them. He never wrote about himself. One day, Daniel knelt beside a soldier whose wounds were too severe. He held the man's hand until the end, whispering prayers. Afterward, he sat in the mud, head in his hands. But when the next cry came, he got up. When the war finally ended, Daniel walked off the battlefield with nothing but his medic bag and his journal. He never told his story. He didn't need to. The lives he saved and the promises he kept were enough. In a world obsessed with heroes who take lives, Daniel Hayes was the rare kind who saved them. He proved that bravery isn't always about fighting. Sometimes it's about running into chaos, not to end a life, but to give someone theirs back. And maybe, just maybe, that's the kind of courage the world needs most.